In this video we're going to take a detailed look at what Loadit is and what it does. So first and foremost, Loadit is an automation tool. It allows you to automate repetitive data processing tasks by defining a series of steps, saving those steps, and then replaying them later on. And we'll see an example of that in action during this video. It's also suitable for all types of users. So where other products might be a little bit technical or difficult to use or pick up, Loadit's very accessible and very easy for anybody to get the hang of. And then lastly, it's designed to be open and extensible. So if you have some more unusual requirements or some bespoke needs, it's very easy to customize Loadit to meet those requirements. So let's take a look at the Loadit designer itself. We have this design surface here on the right, to which we add processing steps to form an overall package or workflow. And on the left here are the elements that we can add into the designer. Essentially we have a set of data sources, transformations and targets. So we're pulling data from a source, transforming it in some way and then writing it out to a target. So let's start by adding a couple of CSV files as data sources. I've got a customers file here, which is a CSV file, and I'll add a second CSV file called prospects. So now our package contains two data sources which we can then plug into other steps further down in the process. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually combine those two data sources together to form one unified data set. So you can see data flowing from customers and prospects into this combined step here. Now my objective is a very simple example, but if we look at the data here we can see we've got title, first name and last name, and I want to sort of merge those together to create a full name column, and here we've got date of birth and I want to sort of derive age from that, and then ultimately I want to output name and age to a CSV file. So to derive those columns I'm going to add a derived columns step. I'm going to link that to the combine step, and now I'm prompted with all of my input columns, and then it allows me to derive columns from those. So I'm going to create a column called full name, and then by defining an expression I can derive my full name column by concatenating together the input fields. And the syntax here is identical to Excel syntax, so anybody who's familiar with Excel should have no problems picking this up. So words away, and there we see we've derived a full name from those input fields. I'm going to create a numeric field for age, and for this column I'm going to use an inbuilt age function that comes with the Loadit product as standard. I'm going to pass date of birth as an input parameter into that function. And there we go. We can see we've got full name and age derived. Okay, and if we look at the output from that, exactly what we want, two columns. And then we'll need to write that data out to a target. So I'm going to select CSV target as a target, link that to our derived columns, and tell it to write that out to a file called name and age. And that's it. I can now press save to save this series of steps as a Loadit package. And those steps are now saved and preserved, and we can come back to them and rerun them at any time. So I can reopen the package and we see our steps are all perfectly preserved there. If I want to execute those steps, because as it stands at the moment nothing's actually happened, it's all just in a design phase, but if I actually want to execute those steps I just press run, and there we see we've produced a file called name and age. there it is. So we can see that Loadit comes with a lot of rich functionality out of the box, but it's also designed to be extensible so that you can customize it to meet any specific requirements or bespoke needs that you have. And there are three ways that Loadit can be customized. So the modules that we see, or the elements we see here on the left, you can create your own of any of these. So if you have a specific data source, maybe in a database somewhere, or something unusual in a proprietary file format, then you can. It's very easy to create your own data sources and similarly data targets. If you have specific business logic or some sort of unusual transformations, likewise, it's very, very easy to create your own transformations. And if we go back to have a look at this derived columns step, you will see that there was a whole array of built-in functions here, and these can also be added to with your own functions. And again, it's very, very easy to create your own functions to perform whatever logic or manipulation that you need. And then lastly, you can create add-ins to modules themselves. So in this case, we might have an add-in here, which is not part of the derived column set module itself, but is actually an add-in that plugs into that. If you're interested in knowing more about extensibility, we're not going to show you all the technical details here. Get in touch or have a look at our tutorials on extensibility. So hopefully that's given you a flavour of what Loadit is and what it does. If you're interested in knowing more, have a look at our website, plenty of information on there, or drop us an email and yeah, get in touch.